Oh, geez, my helicopter off, Sammy. You're supposed to tell us when we're ready.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. Shh. Live from... Are we? Yeah. Yeah, wait a minute. We must be. Oh, I'm not in the control room.
You're not in the right room?
Now I am.
Oh, good.
Okay, now, live from Houston, Texas, where it's boiling today, Learn to Paint Tuesdays with Ginger Cook and Sammy at the helm. Oh, Sammy, dude, you are just cool as a cucumber. Ginger.
Hi. Hey, guys. Hi, John. Hi,
You
Sammy.
gotta do something
Hi,
with that boy.
Hi, our group out there and wherever you are, where is everybody? What would you say? What's the right word? But you're out there somewhere.
In the world.
In the world, somewhere on the globe,
world.
on this globe. And hi to those who are watching from Mars or wherever, right? Today, if you've stumbled across us, this is an acrylic painting course. Classes. We do different fun things. On Tuesdays, sometimes we really tackle a painting, get right down to the nitty gritty of it, and we leave these up, but we would love it. And you want to participate, you got a question, be sure to type it in bold letters. We have two moderators,
Bold, capital.
2 or 3 capitals.
No bolding.
Yeah, capitals. We have two or three moderators.
Yep.
Generally, Wendy wants to give a big shout out to Wendy and Samsung, and of course John is one of our moderators too, and he'll be answering questions and then relaying them to me because I can't see anything you're writing. We love likes and thumbs up, and I'll tell you what really is happy for us is if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. And that being said, I've got a surprise for you tonight. If you didn't see my latest post on Facebook, I went through some of Monet's paintings and I found one I thought would be really fun. I've never painted it before, but then, you probably haven't either, so we're going to do this together, and I'm going to show you how I'd analyze a painting and how, okay, so I'm looking at it for the first time, stone cold, how am I going to paint this, and I'm going to relay that to you. So we'll learn a little bit about the process, all right? So John, if you want to just scan down to our desk so people can see that, switch the cameras. Now you'll see this is called Printemps de Gévaudan, or Spring in Gévaudan, which is where his home, where Monet lived. Monet's the guy with the water lilies and stuff, for those of you trying to remember who he was. But he did over 750 paintings that I can find, lots of different art. And on our website, gingercooklive.gallery, we have a lot of different paintings that Monet's done as well as Van Gogh. And I think sometimes we can learn a lot from these old dead guys, John asked an interesting question, and we'll talk about that during the thing, but the first thing we need to do is get this underpainting underway. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put this out of the way, all right? And we're going to take a fairly large brush. This is a number 12 Ruby Satin Silver Bright. Now, one of the things here is that this canvas is very scratchy. And let's see, do I have sandpaper sitting around here somewhere? Yeah, here, I do. So the first thing you want to do when you feel that this will wear out your brushes faster than anything, is just sand this down.
Oh, I love it when I can hear it. Yeah, I hear that.
Can you hear that? I
Yeah.
know this is kind of annoying, but people always want to see me do it, right? Sand it down. Right now. Now I want you to listen to this. Hear that? So what you want your canvas to be tight as a drum, so you can take some water. And hot water really works like a champ. This is not hot water, but
it's warm though,
but it's warm.
In the studio.
It's water, and this is cotton. And in fact, I had sort of a laundry. If you've ever shrunk laundry today, I washed some clothes in hot water with a new pair of jeans from Melissa McCarthy jeans, which I love. Melissa's jeans, dark blue jeans, and now I have blue night washcloths. Are no longer white; they're blue.
It's a pretty shade of blue, though.
I have not had a pair of, anything in the last 20 years that wasn't color fast, and I was really shocked that these were not. Just saying, so if you own any of those clothes, you better wash them like they said in cold water. There's no hot stuff. But I was trying to shrink them a little bit too because I lost some weight, and I managed to do that. Did shrink them a little bit, so that was good, but I didn't intend to dye everything in my other wardrobe blue. All right, so now we've done that. Hear it?
Sounds like a drum now.
Hear the drum?
Big
Doom,
difference.
doom, 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 boom, boom. All right, so that's what you want for your canvas. Now I'm going to just wet this. You know what I don't have, John, is any rags anymore. They're all gone.
You got one on
My
the floor.
fabric rags, they're all over here. Maybe can I reach them? I can't. All right, so I want to take, this is fun. We're going to take Naphtha Crimson, and we're going to cover the whole canvas red. And you're going, why are we doing that? I know, this is just crazy. This is what we're going to do. There's a lot of green in this picture, and red is the complement of green, and there's a lot of red in those trees. And oil painters had to do stuff a little bit different than we acrylic artists, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more accurate as far as, you know, what we're doing. Okay, there's a couple of rags here, so let me, here's some, let's see, let me get my red out again here. So I kind of used it up, but then I'm going to dry this, okay? But red is the first color we're going to do. And I'm going to show you a totally different way to paint this than you normally, how I would go about painting this. I was just starting from scratch. I'm going to do this differently, and it's a lot of different ways to do things. A little tiny bit of water on the tip of your brush, and I have up here in the corner, see there, a little bit of, there should be a little tiny bit of water in that, see? And then just on the tip, you know, not diving your whole brush in there like a swimming pool. I don't want to get this too thick anywhere. Now, I've got the whole canvas red, and I've kind of smoothed it out like that. And I haven't made any grooves in the record, so to speak. Everything's kind of going down and across like a weaving pattern, so that there's just red, okay?
It's a pretty red.
And, you know, it's a pretty red, too. That's your primary red on your color wheel. Do I have a color wheel?
You had one.
I had one.
And we seem to have lost focus.
What do you mean lost? Who's lost focus? I'm focused.
Color wheel's right there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see that from here.
But you're saying the camera's lost focus.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the red. You see there? There's the red. That's the primary red on the color wheel. That's what we did.
And
okay.
using regular naphtha crimson.
Naphtha crimson. You know, some other brand may call it something else, but it's your red, yellow, and blue. It's the colors you can't mix. You have to just kind of own red. You know, you can't make a red.
All right, hold that thought.
Okay. John's going to go ahead and try to focus this. Whoops. Okay. John's going to go ahead and do this. And one of the ways we focus our camera is that, I don't know, how do we focus the camera, John? You go into some sort of weird settings.
I told that I wanted to do a spot focus on a certain area.
Okay, and so it's spot focusing on there. You know, the thing is, I don't think I could ever operate this camera. It's got like a zillion settings, but it's very handy. And one of the reasons that we have such good broadcasts is this is one nifty camera. What kind of camera is this, John?
Sony.
It's a Sony. Okay.
It's a Sony.
All right. So then, actually, when we travel, we can take this camera with us and shoot live video with it, which I think is kind of cool. All right. Now there we are. Now what I want to do now is take the hairdryer. The brush goes in water, and I'm going to just go ahead and move everything out of the way because I don't want to dry my paints, and I don't want to just send this spinning across the world. So
and you picked red because it's the complementary of green.
I picked red because it's the complementary of green, and there's a lot of red in those trees. And I was kind of studying how he did the painting. Could you turn the little camera back over toward me, that little one?
If I have to get up one more time.
You do.
What? Nobody can hear you. I'll turn you down and turn that up. There you go. All right, I'm back. He's in a rare mood tonight. Sammy, did you get all your air conditioning? No, but the guy's coming tomorrow or Thursday. So AC will be here. John, very clear on TV. Is it still looking clear? Let me know. Because it wasn't that clear in my eyes. My eyes could be all fogged over. Ginger white paint is shaped like a glowworm. Ginger's very creative with all that, isn't she? Mine is stuck. I never get stuck. Okay. Well, it's kind of early in the show. We've got 241 people on, or 230, okay. I do want to let you know the auction is going on and people are visiting. If you have something up for bid, do come visit often because I'm updating them as quickly as I can when they come in. And there's a lot of activity going on. It closes on April 1st at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. That's this Saturday, Central Time, right before the stroke of midnight. It will be the end of our first auction, and we're all very excited. John on a 49-inch, and it's very clear. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate that. It sounds like he's about done. It sounds like he's in cooling mode now. Remember, after you run the hot air on the canvas, you put it on cool. They just kind of finalize the drying process. And she's back.
Okay, now one of the things I want to remind everybody, when you use a hairdryer, at the very end, give it a blast of cold air. And after you do that, if it still feels tacky, it's not dry. Okay, sometimes when you use just hot air, okay, and you touch it, you can't really tell because it still may be a little tacky, but the cold air kind of seals it for sure. All right. So now we've got that. Now let's get back to our picture. This is going to be fun. I think we're going to have a good time. I always entertain when we're painting new stuff. Okay, so this is what we're painting.
There's no thinking.
Well, yeah, we're going to have a good time. All right, now I got to talk to you about the secret word. You saw John using this painting to focus, right? This is the painting that we started. This is called The Promise. We started a couple weeks ago. This is
the proposal.
This is called The Proposal. Sorry, The Proposal. And I'm giving this as this is an original painting designed by me. Really cool. Someone's going to win this. And every broadcast, there's going to be a total of 8 secret words, 8 broadcasts, 8 secret words. Sometimes I'll do a couple during a broadcast in case you have a bad connection, didn't hear one. And if you, at the end of that, which is how many more do we have to go, John? One more?
Tomorrow is the last one.
Tomorrow's the last one. That'll be the 8th one, and then we'll let you go ahead and mail us in your secret words. Then next Monday.
No. We'll have a special form. No mailing.
No mailing.
Have a special form.
We lied. Sorry, I lied.
She's talking out of turn again.
Okay, no, not true. So anyway, somehow you're going to get us your secret words. John knows the secret to that. Okay.
I have a secret to that.
I just know the words. I don't know. Then we're going to do a live drawing of the people who had 8 correct words on the show.
At least one from each of the 8 shows.
One from each of the 8 shows, and we're going to go ahead and we'll do a drawing. And that person will, wherever you live in the world, we will mail it to. This will be your own. I will send you a personal note and congratulate you on winning this painting. All right, so that's coming up tonight. We're also going to play a little trivia. Here's our picture. All right. Now you can kind of see this. We're going to take a little chalk here. I've got a little light yellow chalk. And I'm going to say that his original painting, in case anybody wants to know, was like 36 by 38 inches. So pretty big, right?
It was huge.
Yay. Yeah, that's pretty big,
yay.
right?
About like yay.
Yay. Well, 36 inches is from your nose to the tip of your finger. That's a yard, for those of you who don't know that. Did you know that? If you sew the nose, you hold your arm out to the tip of your finger. That's 37. So it was almost square. We've got a little 10 by 10 square here, but I think we can get the general idea of that. So I want to come up here about 4 fingers and just do something like this.
4 fingers is approximately 2 inches.
Yes, we figured 2 fingers is an inch. Isn't that good? Yeah. And then, but not everybody uses inches. Some people use metrics. You know, this is global.
Everybody has a finger.
Well, most people do. You know, at least
true.
one anyway. Okay, so then we know that, for instance, so
no
then
secret
what do
word
we
has
know?
been given yet.
Now,
Don't
most
panic.
people would think you'd put the sky in, but that's not how a lot of times oil painters do stuff. This is interesting. In acrylics, we would just put the sky in, and then we put the trees, and we just keep building our way forward. But oil painters don't always do that. So we want to come over here from the top about 3 fingers and put a little dot, and then come down 2 fingers and come down a finger and put a dot. And then I want to start down here at the corner and put a dot. And then about halfway up, I'm going to go in like this, and this is where our tree is going to be. And I'm going to just put some dots there. See that? And then about
oh yeah, speaking of fingers.
4 fingers down. Yeah, what about fingers? I'm going to do this.
We were talking about fingers, and we're taking a survey.
Oh yeah, that was so interesting because John, you'd have to come over and show your fingers versus my hands, right?
Yes, it's a 10 by 10, and no, you do not have to be present to win.
No, you do not have to be present. You just have to have somewhere we can get a hold of you.
Make sure your email's correct.
Yeah, because if your email's correct, you're kind of at right. All right, so John's going to show you. Here's my hand. You see how my fingers are sort of tapered? All right. So John's fingers.
Oh.
Oh, you just put your hands in paint? This is so sad, John. Here, have a rag. All right, John's fingers are very squared off. So, do you see that? See how his fingers are, mine are tapered? So, I don't know, I've never painted.
We want to know if males are tapered or non-tapered.
We want to know if that's just an anomaly with John or most males have tapered fingers. We just didn't know. We just thought it was interesting. Our question, we didn't know. So, all right, I'm going to come over here on the other side, up about 3 with a dot in about a finger. Come over here about 4, put a dot here. Down over here about 2, put a dot right here. Now, I'm going to say that I've got a tree. I think, yeah, got to put a dot that's coming up this way, like that, and kind of branching off here. It's going to come down about 3 fingers, branching off here. And then, right in an angle, if you thought about an angle going like this, if I did a straight line, it would run right over to about here, okay? almost halfway. If I did a straight angle like this, I'm going to come over about 4 fingers from the first tree, and there's a tree. And it's a little smaller. It's going like this, and then the next one's a little closer, and it's doing this. Now I want you to know that even in a painting like this, there's a vanishing point. So basically these trees are coming down at an angle, and they can't get any higher than this. The first trees are going off the top of the canvas. Do you see that? But these do not.
This is interesting.
What?
Yours are the only ones that appear to be tapered. So you're the abnormal.
Really?
Yeah. Most of the females are saying they're like mine.
Really? Huh.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, that is interesting, because I think that is interesting, John. Okay, so there's this one. And then I've got another one, kind of a little small one, and it's back here. Okay, and then we can barely see one here. So we basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trees, okay?
Now, should we have 6 trees?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what we got. But you barely see this one, so maybe it doesn't count.
Okay.
So he's probably just counting the 5, right? It's kind of the odd number, all right?
Yeah.
So now, so this is totally different than you normally do it, and I understand that, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's kind of exciting, isn't it? We're doing something different.
So now the next question is, those with tapered fingers, are they sock folders or not?
Oh, I don't know. Do you think there could be a correlation?
I bet there's a correlation.
I wonder. Maybe it's harder for us tapered fingers.
You know, I'm seeing red paint on the tip of your nose.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Huh. All right. Did your mother do this? She'd spit on a washcloth. Do you remember that? I just couldn't stand it. My mother
Still there.
spit on it.
More on the up underneath. Underneath. There you go.
Yeah.
Nope, still there. Do I have to come over and wash your face? There you go. You got it.
Good. My mother, I used to hate that as a kid. That's mothers do that all the time. They spit on the washcloth. One of the kids, never
Now,
want
did
to
you
wash
do it?
anything.
Did you do it as a mother?
No, because
you
I
did.
thought it was. I have to have sentiment. I don't think I did. I bet I didn't. Or
It's
maybe I did.
It's convenient. It's there.
All right. So now we're going to put in the trees. You ready for this? So what we're going to do is we're going to take some burnt umber and a little Dazzling purple and a little cad red medium. Got this sort of rust brown here. Now, using this little angle brush, we're just going to come up like this with little short brush strokes. And we're still following the tree rules about trees being slightly thinner as they go up. And here's our tree. Chalk will wipe off, right? We kind of know. We have a tree map now. We kind of know where we're going. We've got a branch going off here and one like that. Okay. Then we got a funny little branch doing this. These little angle brushes are great for that. And then right here we've got a branch leaving. Okay. And then there was another one down here. He got very little with little, and this almost touches the side of the painting here. Okay. All right, so this is fun. Come on, you guys, this is great. Now you're going, I don't get what you're doing, but that's all right. It's a different way. This isn't a way you would normally not do it. Mix some more of this color, cad red medium, purple, and a burnt umber, and we're going to come on up here and do this tree. Got to start somewhere. A little short tree, like do. And then this one's doing kind of a, let's make this kind of curved in. See how it's kind of curved this way? And then this one's forking off this way, and then we'll just fork it off again. Branching, I think, is what we want to say instead of forking. I don't know, it has some bad connotations, I don't know. Anyway.
Eva's asking, does Ginger have her palette wet?
I don't, but what I did was I did mist it, because I've got some fans blowing in here. I did mist it, okay? And I did mist it before I started, just to make sure. And one trick is, you see how this paper towel is folded? If you do an accordion fold on your paper towels, if you live in a really wet climate, or dry climate rather, and really it gets hot, you can accordion fold a paper towel several times about 3 inches wide and wet it, wring it out, lay it around the outside of your wax paper palette or glass, and then put your paints on that, and then mix in the middle where it's dry. A lot of people like the stay wets, but I don't like to. For me, it thins the paint out too much. Okay. So all right. So I've got a little branch coming up here. Now it's got a shoulder. Okay. Think of branch as having a shoulder, and we're going to make it a little bit crooked. And up here like this. It's not a noodle. And then as we use this branch coming up here like that. Okay. More paint for each time. Let's see. What did we do here? Well, we got to make this branch a little thicker. This is quite a little bit of a tree here. Let's thicken this up here too. Now we've got some branches. Let's see. I guess we'll put a few more, but here's some small ones like this, and we may come back and put some later. Do you see how a little angle brush like this can make thin lines and thick ones? And then what you do is after you rinse it, you pinch it like this and bring bring the edge back, because you're using it like a knife blade. Now, right here on the edge here, we're going to come up with this one. Say here's this little tree. Now, it's a really different way that you'd paint this, and I think this is kind of fun. Sometimes, you know, all kinds of ways to paint something, all kinds of styles of painting something. And people said, you know, what is fine art? At the time that these guys were doing it, they didn't have a lot of big fans. Monet lived to be in his 80s, where finally he was recognized, and he actually made a pretty good living selling his stuff. But, you know, Van Gogh only sold one painting. And, you know, he traded for some stuff. He actually only sold one. And, you know, which is really was a shame. But, you know, people didn't understand what he was painting. Now his stuff, if you look at his stuff, not everything he did was all that great, but he did a lot of great stuff. I mean, you know, an artist, it's called a body of work for a reason. Now, this little tree back here is very small, probably about 2 fingers tall. I've actually got a little bit before it branches.
Rhonda's asking, do you remember the name of this painting? And
Yeah, it's called, this one by Monet? Yes, it's called Printemps de Gévaudan.
Excuse me?
Printemps is French for spring.
Ah, oui, oui.
Okay, so, de Gévaudan. It's spring in Gévaudan is what it's called. Okay, that's the name of this painting. Good to know, right?
Now, a couple of questions are coming in. Beverly was asking, I wonder how she's going to get the sky in. And then Kelly is asking, this is strange, painting from the front. How did she know to go from the front instead of the back? So you're kind of breaking all rules
I'm
tonight.
breaking all the rules, and you know it's good to it's good to know when you can break them, isn't it?
And tonight is a rule breaking.
Tonight we're breaking some rules here, you guys. We're breaking some rules. Now here's the picture, all right, like that. Here's our picture. Now we've got a lot of branches coming up into the sky. We've got ones that are crossing over here, like this, that are crossing way over here, and we've got some coming up here, little thin ones. And here's where a liner brush is very handy. So you're going, what's that? Well, a liner brush, see if I've got one here. Put my glasses on so I can possibly see what's in here. Let's see, I got a liner brush. Yeah, here's one. Here's a liner brush. They're longer. And what you do is you wet the paint a little bit so it's a little bit more thin. Or this is where you'd buy a flow paint. You know, like a, you know, one that was a little more liquidy, okay? And you roll the brush. See how I'm rolling the brush, right, like that. Now, I want to put some little branches coming up here like this. And I'm going to say that there's some in, there's a lot of branches that are coming across here like this, and maybe this one's coming here, and this one's coming here. I'm going to just, particularly down in here, they're going to go up into nothing. Now, one of the tricks is to keep, we can put some back, but I want a few in here, almost like a puzzle, to because we're going to put the blue in between, all right, like that. And I mean, this is tricky. So I mean, not really, but I mean, this is a different way to do it. Now, again, we can come back with some other colors. Now, there's no chalk here, so we're going to erase that. There's nothing there. Okay. So those are our trees. We've got quite a bit of space back here. Now let's start changing colors. So if we take a palette knife now, here's a little bitty one, take some yellow and a little cad red medium and make an orange. Okay, let's make an orange color like that. All right, there you go, there's orange. Now let's put a little bit of purple with it. Okay, that will make it sort of a different kind of brown. See, that's kind of a more of a rust color. Burnt sienna is probably the closest color you have to that. All right. So now I'm going to just go ahead and take some of that color with this brush and just add some of that to these trees. Just doing like this, almost like making little bits of bark. And it's pretty simple to do. I'm just running this along here like this, kind of over the tree. Doop to doop, doop to doop. Okay, we should figure out the light's coming from this way, from here that way, all right? Good to know. And these trees right here are a little lighter. We started with the dark color, but they're actually a little lighter. So that's okay. We're just going to make them a little bit lighter as we go up. All right. These trees back here, and this one's really kind of almost disappears back here in the thickness of the paint. We've got these on the branches coming up here. Here's our main branches, like that. Here's some dark. Let's put some dark back on this side. You know, nice dark color back in here. Okay, so I want the left side of the tree trunk to be dark, okay? And it'll just sort of thicken that tree up there like that. All right, now I'm going to rinse that brush.
You're just totally freaking people out.
Oh, good. This is fun. Isn't that fun? You just think, this one you thought you knew all the different ways to paint. I'm going to tell you something else. All right, so there's this.
So you guys that are freaking out why she's doing it this way, you're just going to have to wait and see how this all comes together. Because when she's in the studio and she does this stuff, I learn quickly, don't question the artist. Sit back and watch and enjoy.
Well, I mean, it's a funny thing because normally this isn't the way we as acrylic artists would do it. But you have to say, if you're an oil painter, nothing is ever drawing for you, okay? So you go about painting it differently. Just like watercolorists paint things differently than acrylic painters. And airbrush painters paint things differently. And so what we've got going here is, let's see, let's take a little yellow oxide now. And let's just say there's a little bit of yellow oxide right on here. Here's our, see, this brush, what's neat about it, kind of grabs paint and plops it down pretty thick. So I'm going to say that here's some yellow oxide here where this light is, okay? And right in here, that's an old gnarly tree. We're just going to paint these trees in, okay? Kind of pretty with the red background. So far we haven't done much, right? Okay, so here's this one, light on this side, okay? Okay, so everybody's good with me so far. That's just yellow oxide. Let's put a little bit of white with that. There we go. That's nice and light right here. And the same thing back in here. This is light. It's catching some light back here. A little bit of light catching here. You don't see that much on this tree on the end because that would take your eye right off. This is very cleverly designed. Of course, you would expect nothing less, right? And we're just going to take a little bit of light like this. Don't you see how I'm way back on this brush and sort of just wiggling it? Okay, now. All right, so we've got some trees in. Okay, good enough. We can always put some more branches in. So now what we have to do is sort of paint around these little trees. So, it's still pretty wet. Let's see, I think that branch is too skinny. Let's just fatten that one up here like that. There you go. That got a little thin on me. I don't know what happened. Maybe I was talking to you. I think that sounds good.
I'm sure it was entirely my fault.
No, well, you know, I don't think so. But you know what? Let's just branch one off here like this, like that, and well, we'll add some more later. Okay, so there we go. That's what we got so far. So far, so good.
It looks kind of like a Halloween.
It kind of does. All right, now. Let's start with, let's see, I've got some ultramarine blue in a jar.
I gave you that new tube. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't give me a new tube of ultramarine blue. You got one in your kit? Would you like to pony up your paint?
Might as well.
Okay, I hate to use that jar, but you know, John's going to...
You waste so much with that jar on these little paintings.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a little bit of white and phthalo blue like that. Okay, you ready for that? And I'm going to take a little tiny bit of this brown mixture and add to that. A little bit of white. Okay. Now, what do I got? What do I know for sure? Well, I know I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow in it there like that. More white. Here, over here, I want this sort of light color. I'm going to wipe my brush off. Now down into here, I've got some light paint down into here like this. So I'm painting this in down here, kind of around my branches now. This is sort of an interesting trip, isn't it? This is this sort of light gray color. This side of the tree, like that. Okay. Oh, thanks very much, John. Appreciate it. John's got this for me. All right, so I'm looking at my picture going, I've got a lot of light there. I've got some in here, like this, kind of in between. And I don't mind if some of the red shows. Okay. In fact, that's actually desirable in a couple of cases. So we're going to say that there's some blue in here, some light blue. It's coming down this way. Now I know this is just totally different than what you think, isn't it?
It's just totally freaking them out.
Well, you know what? It's fun to be bold and try different things. And now this one, for those of you who are having trouble making thin lines, for your tree branches, you could make some pretty fat ones, branches, and then just sort of erase the part you didn't like. Okay, I think we have some light over here, and we're just coming next to this tree right here. Now at this point my brush is dried out, so I'm going to rinse it. Okay. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to come up in here like this and add some of this light. And as we go, we just got some ultramarine blue out. Thanks, John. Okay.
Factory fresh.
And now we're going to add a little bit of that to our blue. Okay, so we've changed it now. Now we're going to come on up here. Now the blue's changed. You see that? Now we're into the ultramarine blue. But all these little branches, these are all little odd little bits of, you see how the brush strokes keep changing? Add a little more ultramarine blue, okay? And as we come up here into the top of our canvas, like this, we've got this blue. Now we're going to come over here and do that here, like that too. Maybe have a little bit of light right there.
Is this technique of painting that you're doing called something special? They're asking that.
Well, I don't know that it's, what I used to watch when I was watching oil painters, and I used to watch them, they'd come back later and they would put their sky, they wouldn't put their sky first, like I always do. They'd come back and just throw the sky in as they were painting. And it could be a drawing problem they've got, but it's sort of an interesting technique, and it does look it does look differently when you paint like this. It's a different thing, and you see how the red is sort of outlining that tree? Do you see that? Do you see how, because I'm not going
basically what you're doing, this is a very impressionistic painting, and so you're getting to get some of the background coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. The background is coming through, for sure, and I'm allowing that to almost add a glow to the trees. There's an artist in Hawaii, and she does all her paintings like this. She starts with a red background, and then she always has her trees glowing a little bit, because there's usually a little bit of red showing through on some of the branches, and you can't come back with red and get that effect, I got to tell you.
No,
you
that'd
can't.
be very hard to do.
So
and by doing it the other way, you would basically be covering up all your red, that your emphasis color that you're going with.
Yeah, so what we're doing is painting negative shapes. I guess some people would call that negative shapes.
So would we call this negative painting? Lynn's asking that question.
Well, I don't know if that's called that either, but I mean, you're now going to do it. We're layering some stuff. Here's a little lighter color on top of that. Okay, so but I'm coming, and like I say, I can come back with some branches, and certainly.
Yeah, put your branches back.
I can put my branches if I accidentally erase some, but I have enough. And what's cool about this is that I have enough where I have a pattern, so that the brush strokes are all going this way, are all up and down. They're sort of a willy-nilly. Does that make sense?
Ooh, I knew they were going to be willy-nilly.
And that's not a secret word, but it's a good one,
no,
isn't it?
it is a good word, though. But that's a word we like too much.
Yeah,
sorry.
Willy-nilly. Did you have that?
Oh, we had willy-nilly.
Did you have that? Yeah.
Mellows, I believe, is there a color sequence to do the changes when painting from front to back?
I don't understand the question, I think. But there may be, but who
well,
knows?
Basically, we usually go back to front, and you're using the background colors, and you just keep building up.
Yeah, yeah.
But this way, again, since this is really very impressionistic and almost an abstract, the way it's being done, so.
It is almost an abstract the way it's being done.
So we're going to call it a willy-nilly painting.
Yeah, they're just.
Looks like stained glass, according to Kathy.
Kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Very impressionistic.
And it's interesting because, I mean, it takes a little longer to paint something like this, doesn't it? It's like threading a needle. It takes a little bit longer to do it like this, I think, to paint that.
Yeah, but you're getting a totally different effect now.
But you are getting a different effect. I mean, you're getting a totally different effect, and I like to leave a little bit of the red in places showing. Not
because
everywhere.
You certainly, if you put the blue down, you're going to lose all that red and put the trees on top and try to go back and put the red on top of that. No, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't be as bright either. So here's some lighter blue. Okay, so and remember we're putting flowers on top of this blue. Remember all these pretty flowers. So this is just our background now. And then these little light flowers are going to go on top of this. We still have to come back and do a little bit more with the branches. But this is an interesting way to do this, isn't it? And it has to be blue enough.
Interesting. You're just freaking them out. There's no interest here. People are just going crazy.
Well, I mean, be bold, try something different, right? Maybe you'll come up with a technique that's completely different than what I've come up with using this idea. And wouldn't that be cool? And something be very unique to your artwork. Okay?
Nancy, oh no, Nancy, sorry. Brenda is asking, if you only have the one blue that comes with the basic paint kit, can I just add white to make the other blue?
No, blue's a primary color, hon. Blue's a primary color. So, generally speaking, not really. But you could just have one blue and add white and have two different blues, right? You certainly could do that, or add some purple to it or red to it and change it a little bit. I don't know what blue you started out with. But what we know is it's a little bit darker up here at the top. And then it gets a little bit lighter down here.
You know, you're going to give me nothing but work tonight there, girlfriend.
How's that?
All these, because of what you're doing. Anne Marie says, I have some cobalt blue and cerulean blue. What can I do with them?
I'll paint with them, I guess.
I would paint with them, too.
I'd paint with them. I mean,
like
what you can. Just, does it have to be the same color? I mean, we could have done a pink sky. Why do we have to be conventional? I'm just trying to kind of do what he did, right? So I'm being a little bit more bold with this. But I mean, and here's that little gold tree back here, which now we're getting into the pink stuff. All right. So all right. So now let's just come back up here like this.
Let me zoom out a little bit so they can see the original again.
So here's our picture. See, now you kind of zoom in on this picture. Let them kind of see what I'm talking about. Can you see? Can you guys see what I'm talking about?
I can see what you're talking about.
Do you see? That's all
good.
This blue is just layered in there. Do you
Can't
see
get
that?
quite that close.
Do you see how it was all layered in there?
I see the red coming through.
And you see the red coming through on the trees? I mean, you can kind of see it, can't you? So, I mean, I'm not, you know, I mean, I didn't invent this, but I'm trying to, as an acrylic artist, say, how would I make this? All right? That's what I'm trying to do. As an acrylic artist, what could I do to create this? That's all.
Nothing more.
You know, I mean,
it's simple.
Just
anybody can do this.
Well, you know, and no two paintings will be exactly the same, but that's okay. So while this is drawing, right, what we can do down here is take a little, this is cad yellow light and white, okay?
And your brush still has blue on it.
And my brush still has blue on it, so I'm going to come down in here like this and suggest that there's some very bright green in here. Wow, man, is that bright, okay? All right, so very bright green, but it's over that red, so that's pretty. So the red underneath is toning that green down, interestingly. This is cad yellow light with a little bit of this blue in it, okay? And what we've got over here, I got to put that little tree back. What we've got over here is this first layer of yellow color, okay? That's kind of underneath all this, okay? And then we had a little bit of yellow oxide and white. I can see that, right? Like in here. Ooh, too bright. Let me just wipe that off. A little bit of yellow oxide and white, okay? All right, so there we go. So that's what I want here. Yeah, there we go. A little yellow oxide and white. And let's put a little bit of that red in there with it. There we go. Kind of that reddish brown color in with it. That's better. Okay, so tone that down a little bit. And we've got this color kind of
Debbie
back
would
in
like
here.
to know if, I wonder if Van Gogh ever painted like this, Ginger.
Well, you know, he probably did something similar. Canoe. So, you know, it's fun to go back and study the paintings because they didn't all do them the same way. You know, Van Gogh tried Starry Night and almost bagged the whole project, you know.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Just thought it was, you know, he was tempted, but then he was almost bagged the whole project. All right, I've got this little tree back here, which I'm going to just go ahead and do that orange color with. And suggest there's this little one right in here like that, kind of back here like that. There's that little tree. I'm going to put that back in there. Maybe add a little more to this tree, okay? Now, all right, so we're moving along. Yeah, everybody thinks so.
Well, according to my script over here.
Okay, now I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and yellow and make sort of an army green and then put lots of yellow with it. Okay, see it back up here in the corner here, that color. See that color? Now, I want to come back up here. And there's a little bit of a tree up in here like this. There's some brighter green trees kind of up here, okay? And then over here, there's some sort of little bright green trees we're putting, okay? Right next to here like that, we're just putting some little trees like this. Is that fun, right? Then how about over here? A little bit darker, a little bit, some trees in here. And we're going to suggest kind of back into here that there's a few little trees kind of sneaking up into here like that. Okay. I'm just kind of looking at this, and then I'm going to take a little cad yellow light, and I'm just going to add little drops of this color here. Let me just put a little on the brush and just sort of tap it in there. Just on top of that, because there seems to be a, you know, some little highlights in here in these trees, and that's just some cad yellow light. It was just put a little, everything's still wet. Remember, most of what they did was wet on wet. Okay, let's put a little green back there. Okay, so now we've got our bottom part of our trees. Then we're going to come back here with the yellow oxide and a little bit of cad red medium. Okay, and this somewhere down in here now, we've got this gold color, which is kind of next to this tree, and then down in here, okay, that there's this gold color, okay, like this, and then just, ooh boy, we're just putting some of this gold color in here. I'm just kind of got to put my picture up kind of where I can see it, okay. All right, so you see we're getting there now. Now, that's fun. So this has had a chance to dry a little bit, and you see this acrylics dry darker, so I need to come up with some white and phthalo blue, just mostly white, with some phthalo blue, just some tiny, this has got to be really, really light. Maybe put a tiny bit of brown in it to dull it down just a bit. There you go, and mostly white, because this has got to be really light around here. Does that make sense? This down here at the bottom is really light, so that's our next coat of light paint. Like that. This was very light.
Nicole would like to know, has Ginger ever thought about doing a painting retreat?
Painting retreat?
Yeah.
I had thought about it. I wasn't sure how I would organize something like that. If we ever organized a painting retreat, we'd have to have somebody like Wendy organize it. Just have me show up. Somebody else has got to herd all the cats, right?
Yeah.
You know, and just, you know, I think that would be fun sometime. I'd like to do it. I've got a lot of easels I could do that with. I have a lot of big easels. All right, so you can kind of see where I got a little bit lighter here. So I'm letting that dry. Now, let's make a very dark green. So take the yellow and phthalo blue and a little purple and make a very dark green. All right. Okay, a little bit of yellow, phthalo blue, and a tiny bit of purple. Okay, so now let's come up here like this, using up and down brush strokes now. Everybody's with me. Up and down brush strokes, and we're making a dark green. All right, up and down, everything's vertical, like that. And don't worry if you end up with some different colors. That's the magic of it. All right. Okay, so up and down brush strokes, and we're going to do some dark green here. This is already kind of pretty, isn't it? Kind of abstracty and pretty.
It's starting to look very pretty, according to Jill. Pretty cool.
Right. You know, so I'm just saying this is kind of cool, right?
It's different.
While we're watching the grass grow, where's my dice? Let's do a trivia question.
Oh,
okay?
let's do one.
All right,
I vote for number 6.
All right, I'm rolling the dice.
Yeah, baby.
6. Wow, did you cheat or something? How did you know? Right?
Well, I'm
6.
psychic.
All right, now this is how the rules go for the trivia question. There's no prizes or anything. You just have fun playing along. John's going to ask the question from our 600 art question trivia game, okay? And then you're going to try to guess the question, and you guys all guess it, and then I'll guess it, okay? Probably you'll get the answer, but anyway. All right, go ahead, John. Number 6. What one is that?
Okay, this is a gimme. There should be no wrong answers, Ginger.
Oh, why are you giving me any trouble? I'm the marvelous person here. Don't give the marvelous artist any trouble here. Here, let's move this up.
What will you typically find in an artist's studio that rhymes with a 4-legged, cunning, and friendly wild animal?
Oh, I don't have to think. Are there choices?
No, this is mystery, people. No choices.
There's no choices? Okay. All right, so you guys, read them a question again, because I'm sure that's discombobulating question.
Discombobulating question will be read again.
Okay.
What will you typically find in an artist's studio?
Take some blue in here, you guys.
That rhymes with a 4-legged, cunning, and friendly wild animal. You want to name the animal.
That rhymes with that animal?
The animal and the thingy. Oh, people are getting it. Oh, people. I have got. Nobody's wrong yet. Nobody is wrong yet.
I can't think of a thing.
Are you kidding? Beer.
think-
Wait a minute, newbie to paint. That's wrong answer. A deerfoot brush. Nope, wrong answer. A box. Box it? No, no box. It's cute though.
Somebody,
Okay, if I say the word easel to you, what would you say back to me?
Weasel.
Good girl, Ginger. You got it. Yay!
But boy, I wasn't going there at all. I mean, my mind wasn't there at all.
Yep.
All right, I
It's
made
a weasel
little
easel.
purple and blue.
Too easy. I agree. That was an easy one.
All right, do another one because that's just warming the group up. Now everybody's got their thinking cap on. Did your mother used to say that?
Oh, you got
Push-
get your thinking cap on. Here
Thinking
comes a
cap.
toughie.
Yeah, here's the thinking cap. So I'm telling you, this was like these mommyisms across the world here. Okay, so here we go. Here's our dark colors. You
You're
ready?
gonna roll a dial.
Oh yeah, I got to roll the dice. All right,
What'd you
where's
do
the
with
dice?
it?
Oh, I'll put it back here.
Oh, that's
Ready?
good. Yep. Right on top of the wet painting. Okay. A 3.
3.
3 is a win. Wins are always fun. I gotta find one I can read.
Okay.
Weasels are evil. How do you know that weasels are evil?
All right, we're going to get some of this dark green up here too, like this. We're just going to come up into the tree like this. Now we're going to come up into here and add some of the dark green here.
Okay, this is a piece of cake, I'm sure, for somebody. Probably our teacher if he's on tonight. I don't know if I've seen him go by yet.
What, just
During which century did the Nabai movement begin? N-A-B-I. The 15th, the 17th, or the 19th?
the Nubai
Well,
movement. The 15th?
Or Nabai. It's N-A-B-I.
Nabi.
Nabi.
I have no idea, John.
Don't even have a clue?
Not a clue.
Would you like to guess? No, I can't
Well,
guess
give me
yet,
my
though.
3 choices.
You have the 15th, the 17th, or the 19th centuries.
Well, it's got to be one of the first 2.
You think?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I don't know. But that's my guess.
Is that thunder I'm hearing out there? No, that's
No,
the
that's
garage.
just
Yeah,
you know
George.
who in the garage
Yeah.
that might get the air conditioner.
I have a
fixed.
15th, I have a 19th, I have a 17th. Well, people, you're really split on this one.
Well, I don't. Somebody better tell us what the Dumai is, what that movement is. Anyway, I'd love to know what that movement was. Somebody like to
I thought
share
you
that
knew
with
all
us.
the movements.
No, I don't. Why would you think that? I know some stuff, but I don't know all the stuff.
Oh, no, I'm disillusioned.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take some yellow now, right? And I make this bright green color. All right, you're with me, and then I'm going to put a few little dabs of the bright green in here too.
17th,
Into our trees,
18th,
like
19th,
that. The closest
19th,
ones.
17, 19. Thunder is coming tomorrow. Thank you, Becky.
What is the?
John, are you seeing a photo with these questions? No, I don't see a photo.
No, there's
No,
no. We
just a
don't.
little
We have to
card.
look them up. That's what Google's for.
Yeah.
so-
Okay, it is the 19th.
Really, I wouldn't have thought that. So 19th. That would be 1900s.
That would be starting in the 1880s and ended in 1910.
Huh. And boy, I cannot
It's a
place that.
cult-like group founded by Paul Sarusa, who organized his friends into a secret society.
A secret society. How cool is that?
And this work grew out of the work of Paul Gauguin.
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 Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We got a funny little bush back here that's
Isn't
sort of
that
in
cool?
turquoise and white.
Well,
See
people,
that?
you've learned something today.
Okay. So, and what kind of paintings were they?
Um,
Because if you guys remember, Gauguin was the guy that went down to the South Pacific and painted all the natives.
they're pretty much the
He-
same looking style.
There's an expression of it. People say he went bamboo. Have you ever heard that expression? He went bamboo.
He went bamboo. No, I've heard bamboozle.
Yeah, no, that's when somebody goes to a tropical island like Hawaii and doesn't want to come back, or the South Pacific, whatever they say, they went bamboo.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're gonna lighten this up down here a bit more. It's darkening up on us. Okay, so here's what we've got so far, you guys. Okay. Now, so while we're waiting for this to dry a little bit more, we could. But there's a little bit of this light green stuff on this tree here too. I've noticed that there's a little bit of light green on this side of the tree, like that, and a little bit up here like that. That's interesting. None on that tree, but there was on this tree. Now let's take some of that light green, add some white to it. Okay, this is really pretty bright here.
We are in the Secret Cookie Society. Lori, I like that.
The Secret Cookie Society. All right, so we're going to come up here using brush strokes, vertical brush strokes over the dark green like this, and do a layer of light green grass like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and you get, just because we didn't dry it, we're picking up paint, so we have to keep going with it. I've got my angle brush. I might just bring it down toward me like this, because this gets a little shorter. And then I'm going to say that there's some little bit of dark green, light green right here on each side of this tree. Doot, 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 doot. Okay, like that.
Do you know any tidbits of information you'd like to share on Mr. Monet?
Mr. Monet, yeah, we could talk a little bit about him. A lot of people don't realize it, but he had vision problems toward the end of his life, and a lot of his lily ponds and stuff. He did a lot of lily ponds, like 100, like 50, 100 lily ponds. I mean, not just one with the bridge. Everybody's familiar with the bridge. He did that. See, what happened was he made his own lily pond garden. Okay, and so yeah, no kidding, he did that. And these are a little bit longer, and then we're going to come in here like this and create another layer. This is how governments are. Any one of you lives on some sort of river, and you go decide to plop a windmill up on it. I don't care where you are in the world. Watch how fast the authorities come and go, I don't think so. What did you imagine you were doing? Or just try diverting a little water under your place without permission. All these governments think they own all the water, pretty much. And you know, you may live on a river or whatever, but try taking some of the water and see how fast they shut you down. And even back then in the 1800s, he had to beg them to have his little pond, okay? Now see here, we're just putting this grass in like this, and then we're coming up from the bottom like this with this green, and we're going to put a little bit more of this blue-green color with a little bit of white to it. We're going to take that yellow and phthalo blue and a little bit of white, and you know, here's this little more blue-green color up from the bottom like this. Now this isn't as bright a green, okay? And just kind of come up this way from the bottom, and let's see, what are we doing here? Oh, we're going to change directions now. Brush strokes meaning everything, okay? Like that. And then he's got some sort of cute little sort of blue-green plant here in the middle, like that, with some more white. Like that. There we go. Let's just get some white on the brush. That ought to work. Some sort of little plant like this, growing up like this, okay? And then there's something up in here like that back here, and we'll just keep painting with our greens here. Then he's got some sort of little grass that's growing this way, down this way, kind of connecting this, and over here. Now we're just putting in the colors. Now let's put a little more of this blue-green over here like that. Ooh, too much. Let's put some light right over the top of that. Okay. All right. So see how we're just starting to add the colors. Do you see that? So, you know, one of the things, I mean, we're still layering. I might put something a little bit darker right in here, but we're definitely still layering. And the cad yellow light is very handy because we want to come up here and get this very light in the background. Maybe a little more yellow and white. Okay. Lighten up there like that. Okay. So lightening this up. It's all layers, you guys. Everything's layers. And do we want anything light up in here? Yeah, sure. Let's lighten up a few of these grasses. Kind of light back here like this. With something growing back like this. Okay, so you kind of see how we're getting the idea of that. And let me see if I can make this work. There we go. Just pure white over the wet green. There, like that. There's something happening right here. Like that. And then we've got a little bit of this light green up here like that in the trees. Now we've got to put the flowers, okay? So we're getting there. We're going to put the flowers. And should we put some more kind of reddish, yellowy, orange color on the trees, right? So right in here, let's just tap some light color like this on our tree. Coming down here like this. Remember, this is where the light's coming from. And on the left-hand side, okay? And then I'm going to say, is there any over here? A little bit over here like that. Maybe we'll make this tree a little wider right here. Okay, coming on up here like that.
Rhonda would like to know, was Monet a respected artist while he was alive?
Yeah, Monet really was, and he made a living at it. And today the whole town makes a living, the whole place of Giverny makes a living off that pond they didn't want to let him have either. Just want to mention that too. It's going to just,
So
I don't know, if you've ever had to
everybody
deal with government bureaucrats and zoning, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so we got to have something light here like this for this tree. Okay, like that. The same thing here, we got to lighten up this one. See, lighten up that. See just what that did? And then we got to lighten it up, see, here.
Donna would like to know, is this one of his famous pictures?
I don't know that if it's that famous, but it's pretty. I thought we'd like it. You know what I mean? The thing is, I was looking and said, what would you guys like? And I thought, why wouldn't we like this? I think we'd all like this, whether it was too famous or not. Here's a little bit of light coming up here like that. And you see the red. There's a lot of red around these trees branches, and they sort of glow, don't they? So let's do some of this right like this. Okay, and let's just say maybe there's something up here like this on this one.
Marie would like to know, how did Ginger do the dark green?
The green was phthalo blue and a little bit purple and yellow, cad yellow medium. So we did the dark green. Okay, so here just a little purple, a little yellow, a little phthalo blue. There's a really dark green. You could even add a little ultramarine blue in there if you wanted it even darker. If I wanted something really dark, I'd add some ultramarine blue. There's some real dark blue right here and right here. What he's trying to say is that there's some shadows from these trees, right? It's what he said happened here. There's some shadows that are coming from these trees. And there's a little bit of a shadow back here. Actually, back up. I almost could bring this up a little higher to this tree. Like that. Just bring this up just a hair. Just bring this grass up just a hair by that tree, and then get back up in here to some light stuff that crosses over into it.
When you get a chance, if they could slide the original down so we can kind of compare where you are and they are.
Okay, here. See what I'm doing? So now all we have to do, I don't know how we've been doing here. It's like an hour. We've been into this an hour, but I don't think that's too bad.
No.
You know? And I want a little orange here. And there was a little orange on this side. Right, like this on this tree. Because red and green are complements. So when you start fooling around with that stuff, it looks real good. Okay? Let's think this tree trunk came really all the way down here. It's a little bit of purple. This tree trunk came all the way down, and it's pretty dark here, like that. See? So now, and there's some dark purple right up in here, and this tree trunk right there. A little bit of dark purple. I'm just going right into the purple here. Putting a little bit darker spots in here like that. Nothing too much, but he had a little bit of dark up on these little branches right up here like that. Okay, so now what I've got to do is, now we're going to put the flowers.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
So now we're going to do the flowers, okay? So this is really fun. I've got to put, I think I want to put this next to me. Can you see it if I put this next to me? No, you can't, can you? Can I move the palette? You have to see the palette. If I can, you can see the picture if I don't need to show the palette.
Let's get rid of the palette.
All right, so I'm going to get rid of the palette and let you see the picture. I'd rather have you see the picture. This is the fun part, right? Where we're going to start putting in the trees, the tree flowers. So I just like to say basket. Basket. All right, moving on to the trees.
Kathy would like to know, how old was Monet when he painted this one? Do you know?
I would have to look that back up.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
So we're taking a little magenta and a little orange and white, cad red medium and white, okay? Now we're going to come up here like this, and we're going to start tapping in some of these flowers. Now I didn't mix it very well. See, I'm right up, I'm over here now. Do you see where I am? And I'm just coming over into here like this, crossing over some of these branches. All right, like this. And I'm tapping this in. This is magenta, white, and a little cad red medium. Not mixed well. Okay? And I'm tapping this in here like this. And just coming on up here like this. Such a different way to paint something, isn't it? And, you know, some people may like this and other people may don't. But I think it's good to understand that there's a lot of different ways to handle paintings and a lot of different styles of painting. And one of the things we try to do over gingercooklive.gallery is I don't just teach you, you know, like for instance, we love Bob Ross, but he taught you to paint like Bob. And my job isn't to teach you to paint like Ginger Cook, it's to teach you to paint like you. And if you can try a lot of different styles of painting, you're much more likely
to find your own style.
To get your own style, but you have to have tried some different things first. It's like if there's 20 different ways to paint an ocean, the 21st way is going to be uniquely yours if you try them all. And this is what you're going for. Now, we've got a good friend now. I feel like he's a good friend, Andrew, who's been taking lessons from me for a while. And he lives out of the country. And Andrew, I can already see his style, okay? And occasionally I'll write something and say, I can recognize an Andrew painting because of his style, just like your handwriting is unique. But the more you practice, and like, for instance, you may be good at one style and just suck, really, quite frankly, at some of this, this impressionistic stuff may just absolutely throw you, okay? But it's good to practice. It's good for your brain, okay? Definitely good for your brain. Now, as we come along down here further, we're getting into more of the lighter flowers in here, and they're in sort of clusters in these trees. Now we're just tapping this in. See in here, all these pretty pink flowers that they're almost white, and they're coming across the branches like this, like that, coming across, and I'm getting new paint each time.
Yes, Andrew, you've got a style. Andrew's on tonight.
Andrew does have a style. He absolutely does.
Andrew, when yours comes in, I can tell it's yours.
John knows it, immediately recognizes it, all right?
Yeah, a couple of people that are really
we have several students like that. We can tell their style, a picture, just by the way it is. And and quite frankly, when you get to see different artists, kind of famous artists, and you start studying art for a while, you can kind of tell the male artists from the female ones, too. And I think one of the things that's really good for women is to paint male artists occasionally. Find some male artists and try to duplicate their paintings. And the reason being is, it might be done differently than you normally would do it. Okay, so I'm back here with a little light here. See, we're putting these flowers in. Now there's a lot of these little flowers down in toward the bottom here, and this is sort of tedious, but we don't want to brush them in. We want to tap them in, all right? So they're all down in here into this, into these tree things. And then we'll come back with a few little branches. See, and there's a little bit of this blue peeking through, see? We're not trying to cover all this up, but for instance, we might come across here, come across some of these tree branches now, see, and let the tree peek through the flowers, okay, and then right down in here like this.
Kathy looked it up. He was 59 when he painted. He painted the water lilies at age 59.
Okay, but you have to understand, he painted hundreds of those water lilies.
Oh, the billions of those things all over the place.
and I actually was lucky enough that we have this museum here in Houston called the Manil, and one back at about 98, they had a Monet exhibit there, and some of his paintings are huge, just absolutely huge. And he did a lot of water lilies, and at one point there was a few collectors that were a little annoyed at him. I bought the water lilies, I don't want anybody else to have any. But he put the whole pond in, and you can go right now. If you decide to go to France and go to Giverny, get those tickets ahead of time. Okay, keep the white in this center. Keep it more red up here, by the way, as you're painting this, right? And so yeah, but you can get more of these. You can actually see the garden. They've kept it up. He had beautiful gardens. And anyway, I just thought it was funny that he had to fight City Hall for his rights to the pictures, his things. And now, they're all sorry probably now, but of course they're all dead. But anyway, it's just my thing. I think it's funny. It's all right. So now I'm going to come back over here and keep layering these flowers.
We seem to be getting hit by the trolls tonight, but Kim Sin is on the prowl.
Are they? I don't understand. Where does somebody get out of, you guys are all enjoying yourself. It's being live is fun. We have a good time. We could just as easily just put up a video, but the thing is that you get to meet people, talk to other artists, chit-chat, play games, all that stuff. And I don't know why anybody would want to ruin our good time. I think we're having fun, to me, anyway, I think we are. And why would anybody want to do that? I don't get the benefit of what's gone so wrong in your day that trying to ruin ours would make it better. That's kind of how I look at it, Don't understand it. It's just like some sort of weird game, and quite frankly, I don't get it at all.
Well, Ninja Kim Sim is on the prowl.
Thank you, Kim. Really, because I mean, it just you know, you have to do it. We're going to go back to a little more pink. I need to have it a little. You know, we need a few more pink ones now, coming in here like
Okay,
this
Kim,
and
give us a
coming
break.
across. And you know, we so appreciate everybody here and what we're doing. Okay. Now let's just come on up here like that. Do you see how cool this picture's looking? I mean, you know, see how we're getting it? And there's really not a good way to get it other than this.
Well, I think you're doing better than he did.
What? Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put a little bit of Cad Red Medium with that. And because some of these flowers up in here are a little brighter red. And I don't know why, but you know what? What's my picture? So I'm just, whatever he thought, I'm going to go with it, right? So I'm putting a little Cad Red Medium on some of these up here at the top. Maybe that's to bring your eye down. Okay, and we still have to put a few more branches back. And then maybe we'll, here's a little bit of, I think it's that kind of orangey color. You know, here, and there's this little,
Thank you, Joanne,
tree.
for the donation.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
That's
John
nice.
Ginger XOXO.
Okay, so a little bit of orange down here. Thank you very much, you guys. Appreciate it very much. I'm going to put a little bit of orange in here. I guess, I'm not sure what this was. Maybe some kind of orange and yellow. Some sort of, maybe these were flowers or something. I don't know. Something's growing in here.
They look like little irises.
Well, whatever they
me.
are, I've got some color under the red. But, you know, red and green are complements, right?
Yes, they are.
So when you do this,
According to the
Yeah.
color wheel.
yeah, so when you throw in complements, like just last night, the painting we did, we threw in a lot of complements. And, you know, here's a few little bits of orange that are coming back into here like this. And we just sneak in a little bit of this red. And here's a little bit of just this Cad Red Medium on this side of this tree here. And then over here, see?
Lisa, thank you very much for the donation. We appreciate it. Helps buy another tube of paint.
There you go. We're running out of some. Okay, so now...
She's stealing my private stock. Sammy and mine's private stock she's gone into.
Okay,
This
so
is a sad
you
day.
see how we're layering? Now, it's not that this painting is hard, now that you see how we're doing it, okay?
But you have to admit, Ginger, it freaked us out in the beginning.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that, well, you know, it just, but we do have to kind of overlap some branches now. And, you know, that's what we're doing
It's
now.
very cool.
To get a little bit more, kind of lose some of this blue that we have up here, and we may come back and put some blue if we needed to. There's some light blue up there now. Let's
Ruth would
do
like
that.
to know, has Ginger ever visited his garden?
Yes, I have, and I actually have some photographs if I could ever find them of that. I did. I got to visit that, and that was really fun. I took this cruise to, got this great deal on a cruise, $500 for 10 days, and it went to out of Florida. And I got one of my girlfriends to go with me, and we're just putting in some of the light blue now, little dots of the light blue to break this up. See that? And anyway, we ended up in Paris, and then there was a tour to go to Gévaudan. So we went, and it was really nice. I got to take some pictures and see the bridge and his flower gardens, and you really want to see that in the spring, and you need reservations. If you guys are thinking about doing it, make sure you have reservations, because you just can't show up.
They do not take walk-ons.
Well, I guess they do, but there's long lines, and they, you know, everybody wants to see it, right? And they're making their money for sure. Okay, so now we're going over some of this blue, couple of places.
Anne would like to know, what is Ginger's favorite Kent Wallace painting of the old house with the green tile roof?
Besides that, you know, I've got a Kent Wallace book. I'll show you next time. I'll show you. I'll bring out my Kent Wallace book. You can buy his book. I love his stuff. If you used to go to IHOP some years ago, they had a lot of his stuff. Okay, see how I'm coming across here now and breaking up with a little bit of blue? See that? See, now we're putting some blue back, and even some ultramarine blue, a little bit of darker blue back in a couple of places. There's some darker blue bits back in here like this. Isn't this funny? I'm just looking at the colors. And it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle, but you're doing the pieces yourself. See, there's this sort of dark purpley blue back here, right like this, right by this tree, right like that. See this little dark purpley blue color? And he's got some purple in there. Let's get some magenta in there. That's pretty. Where'd that come from? Ooh, that's pretty. Didn't even see that color till I got to playing. A little bit of magenta. Ooh, that's really nice. Where am I going to put
Yeah,
that?
we could lose it for another hour. Here we go.
Well, I'm just saying this is pretty. You can kind of see it. We've got to put a few more branches in here, but you can see how neatly this paints, doesn't it? Let's just get a little
It's
bit
a
of
fun
yellow.
little painting. It really is. It's one of those therapeutic paintings.
Well, and here's the thing: you wouldn't think that this is how you'd paint that, but I was studying this and thinking this is the only way to paint this.
Thank you, Teresa, for the donation.
Oh, too much.
Sammy appreciates it for replenishing his paint.
Yeah, poor Sammy. We took his paints, right? Okay, so I want a little more red here.
Nothing
See,
that
I'm going to
annoyed
just take
there.
some Cad Red Medium now, and I'm going to put it on a couple branches like this. Just, even though we had red in the background, I'm going to add some red to our trees here just on purpose. Now, like this, a little bit of red down in here like that. Look at that. I mean, is that not cool or what? That's in our what, isn't it?
That's in a what?
That's in our wet. Now we need to get some branches going. So now we're back to the little fine brush. Okay. And I think we're pretty good as far as you can see that. I mean, we need a few more white things in here, but we need some branches. So let's get some kind of orangey brown colored branches.
How are your paints holding up? They holding up all right?
Yeah, they're holding up, and I'll just
I'm just wondering because it
mist.
seems to be warming
Yeah,
up
it's hard
a
to
bit.
mist one-handed. Have you noticed that? Here. Here.
Missed one-handed. I mean, how many hands does it take to push the little squirter bottle?
Well, and hold a brush at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be smart ass.
I'm just watching the chats go by. I didn't look up.
Okay.
I apologize at this time.
All right.
So if anybody thinks.
All right, just, okay, so now you see I'm coming through here. Now I'm not going to connect these branches to anything. What are you talking about? I'm just going to make a few little odd branches kind of tucked in among the flowers, but I don't actually have to connect them at this point to the tree. I just have to suggest they're here. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'll connect it to one thing, but I'm just adding in here some little branches. Just little bits of branches. That's cool, isn't it? You didn't actually connect anything to anything. Okay, and then there's this one here.
Actually didn't connect anything to anything. Interesting.
You know, maybe that one is a little bit thicker, but there you go. We're not connecting anything to anything. We have some little branches coming off of this way, and then it's going up here. But so what's happened is that your branches are hiding in amongst the little flowers, which is much easier and less tedious, yeah? So you just add a few here and there. And he's definitely got some that are reaching across. It's almost like it's doing a cathedral kind of thing, where they're reaching over here like this, and then one's coming up here like that. I'm going to do a little darker one here. Oops, too much paint. Like that. So we've got some darker ones coming this way. A little bit darker. Okay. Now, come on, that's cool, John. I really think that is so cool, the way this is working. I'm going to say this branched off right here. This needs to be a little thicker right there. Remember, trees have to have a shoulder just like you do. Wait, that's coming along, isn't it? And then let's see, what do we got? Anything else as far as... are you with me there, John?
Yeah, I believe I am.
So any other questions that we're coming along here with?
What brand is Ginger's Mr. Bottle?
Oh yeah, this is interesting. This is called a spritz bottle, or like from Soho. They're from Jerry's at like $1 or something. And I've seen them for as high as $14 in other brands. And it reminds me of the hairspray bottles that we used to get, the fine mist hairspray bottles. You may even have something you can recycle. What you don't want is a Windex bottle.
It has to be very fine mist.
It's got to be a fine mist, so you don't want that. Now I'm coming up here, and I'm going to start adding some highlights to my trees here, like this, like right here. There's a little light highlight on that tree, and let's see, kind of a light yellow, right, like that. And I want to, let's see, up in here, a little bit of light highlight. Just little dabs of color. You don't need to do much. Okay, and we're going to say that there's some little, this color can still be almost branches. This can almost be flowers like this with this little brush like that too. Okay, now titanium white. Now we're going to come across here like this with some titanium white. White, white, white. right in the center here, almost in this oval, and in here there's some titanium white that's on top of all these others, like that. So it's layering, okay? That's what I would tell you. It's a little tedious in that sense. If you actually, I mean, you're more than welcome to just do whatever I did on the picture. You can download his picture now that I've showed you how to paint it if you want to get more detail than what I've done. But
do you have a canvas pad over there with you? Somebody's asking what kind we have, and
we use something called a Paramount canvas pad, and they're really nice. But I guess Frederick's makes one too. They're not plastic. It's not paper. It's real canvas. It's real canvas. See, I'm into the white now, you guys. See that? A little bit of pure white, a little bit of dots of this. See, staying in the center. Coming down, like down into here, like on top of this, thank you, John. On top of this, you know, this stuff is light in between the trees. You see these flowers. Clear down. There's even some dark blue. Clear down here to the bottom. About like that. This darker blue here, see? We're coming in here now, and we're overlapping these little bits of dark blue color. See? This touches almost the way down to the bottom here. So then what about up in here? I think we could go up a little bit lighter. Let me rinse the brush here. And come up with some magenta and white. And make sort of a very pretty light pink. I think we could come up here like this. And still have some light, but just magenta and white, okay? There we go. Let's try red and white just for the fun of it. We did that red background. Let's get a pink going. Here's some Naphtha Crimson. I've used it all up, but let's try that for a minute and see. And here's the Paramount canvas that we use, right like that.
Kathy would like to know, is it okay to varnish paintings I painted on the canvas paper that was in pads?
Yeah, you can varnish on anything, sure. In fact, some people say you can take watercolor paper, and if you'll varnish it first, okay?
You can paint on it.
You can paint on it. It won't, you know, and that's cheap too. You can paint on the paper. Acrylics can paint on anything. Paint on your shirts. You can paint on anything. Acrylics are great stuff. Great stuff. You can paint on lawn furniture, you know. And stuff, even that step 2 plastic that nothing sticks to, you can buy some stuff from Home Depot and spray it, and then you can paint your acrylics right on that or glass. I love that, right? So you see where I am with my stuff, right? And you see where I need some, I need to cross over into here. I need to come up here with something. So I'm going to take some white and a red and make a pink color. There we go. That's sort of a nice pink color. Now, coming up here like that. That's a little brighter. See that? There's some pink up in this part.
Helga is saying, I love this painting and style. Would it look good as a big painting? Well, the original
was the original was huge. It was 36 by 36. It would be gorgeous use, and probably a lot huge, and probably a lot easier to do, might I add. You know what I mean? This is a little tedious. We're fooling around with these little tiny brushes, and you know, that kind of stuff. And I would venture to say this would be much easier to use. And there's a little bit of pink underneath this one, see, on this side, like that. Okay, and there's even a little bit of yellow oxide coming down into this plant, like there's a little bit of yellow oxide here. There's some of this light green. I mean, there's so many colors in this picture. There's this little bright green, and he really did go into the, you know me and bright greens, I'm not a big fan, but he went into these really, really in-your-face bright greens here in a couple places. See that? And not everywhere, but there's a few guys. Really bright green, in-your-face bright greens. He was a big fan of that. Okay, just bright as you could make it. Okay.
I want to remind everybody that the ending of the auction is April 1st at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. That's Saturday. This Saturday, 11:59 p.m. Central. Not March 31st. April 1st. No fooling.
Okay, so now remember, if you've done some stuff, you have to put some branches back. Don't be afraid to put a few branches back. Okay, and I've got something very dark right here that apparently he wanted some very dark stuff right there. These were pretty dark right here. There was a little bit of dark. This little purple and cadmium medium This was kind of dark right in this little section right there. Okay, so you see I'm putting my lights and my darks back. A little bit of dark in here like this. Then I'm going to go back. I could probably sit there. It's like a puzzle. So you're going back and you're going, well, what about here? Do I need this? Do I need to skinny up this tree a bit, right like this? See, is that a little bit thinner, that tree? Was there a little bit of gold or yellow somewhere? Yellow and, see, I'll put out another row of white somewhere. Got a little bit of light over here. I think I got pretty close to this. Don't you think so, John?
Well, most people are considering that yours is better than his.
That's very nice, thank you. All right, so we've got some, let's see, I think we said yellow and white over here, right? Just in this section right in here like that. And
do you know if Monet used a palette knife on the original? Could you tell from? I haven't seen it.
No,
in the
I think
picture.
I think he used a brush. I think he wasn't the, I'm pretty sure he used a brush.
I think Nicole.
Yeah,
Somebody was asking, could you do a palette knife with it?
I think it would be tough to do a palette knife. You could do, but you could you know what you could do?
To
You
treat
could do gels with this and make it really thick. You could start
Yeah.
mixing your
And
modeling
still
paste
use-
or your gels.
and
If
still
I
use
was
the brush,
doing it
though.
big, that's how I do it. I'd do it really thick. I'd come in here and I'd make the paint really thick. You'd get globs of it, you know what I mean? Because each one of these things would be like a glob here. Here we go. Where's the little turquoise here? Like some little bright color surprise here. Where's my...
Are short strokes required for impressionistic paintings?
Here's what they did. Their paint didn't dry. So everything was overlapped and they did it wet.
So they had to just plop the color on.
They
didn't
just put the color and picked it up and moved along. And if they were very careful, they could keep layering it, right, and not mess it up. It's a real trick, you guys. Okay? It's a trick to do it because there's a tendency to want to mess, So look, I'm going to come up here if I want to thin this branch or like maybe right here. Oh, I think there were some pink flowers right here. See, I just distracted I get, but right from here, let's cut across here like that and get some white. And look, there were some white flowers right in this here. You didn't see this part where it forked. See that? You just didn't see it. I'm seeing that now. And look, there was some. See, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. As you look again, you'll see something else. But I would say this is. I mean, if you get the idea of how you paint something, and that is a completely different way to paint it, isn't it? Than
your normal way, yes.
Than you normally would, and yet it works. I want to come in here like
It
this.
just totally all freaked us all out as you started.
Well, I know, and that's okay. And I'm going to come down here like this with a little bright green next to this tree. Like this, a little bit of bright green here. Just come back up here with some little brighter greens. There we go. See, I mean, you could lay the picture on. All right, so there we go. If I take this out of the way so we're not too distracted, and I could just say, okay, you guys, I think that that I have a pretty good painting here. I might put a little flower right there. You know what I mean? And all these others. Come back over a few of these. All our main flowers are in the middle. Like that. And there we go. There's our picture. I think that would be fair. And I want to put something dark right next to this, right here, dark green next to this, right? This tree right here. I need a little dark green right next to here like that. Kind of cement that little tree in right there, see? There. Now see how that kind of pushed that tree forward? And that's kind of what you want to do. And then where else could I put something bright and colorful? There was something really bright and colorful right here. Right like that. And kind of came off the canvas like this. So, fun. Different things, different ways to paint something. Absolutely different ways to paint something.
Robin is asking news for Master Artist episodes.
I just finished a Van Gogh picture. I'm not quite done with it, but this is if you remember gingercooklive.gallery, this is a painting I was working on today with his hat and his pipe, and it's not quite done.
It's called A Still Life with a Yellow Hat.
Yeah, and here's the actual picture, and I still have a little bit more to do on the big pot right here. But you see, there's that painting. That's going to be for our members. That will be coming up. We're trying to get a lot of artwork done. If you like that, where's those other paintings, John, that I had with those?
Also, what's the release for the week?
Well, the release for our week is, let's see, our release for this week is what? Where's our, all that stuff? Okay.
That corner.
Up in that corner. Okay, so up here. This is the release for this. John will try to get this up at least by Saturday. This is the release. This is the barn. This is our release for our members. And I love this painting. And I think this will be really fun to do. This original cook. You can see some similarities, can't you, in kind of the style a little bit? Can you kind of see? You know, I think we all get influenced by the artists that we emulate. Here's if you guys remember, this was a Van Gogh we have on YouTube. That if you haven't done this one, this is a fun one. And then our members did this with the palette knife and brush. This is another one of his. So these all go together, kind of in a set. Kind of. I like to make collections. So if you have a Van Gogh collection for your kitchen, and you can see how cool. Let me just show you here how cool. See what I mean? How cool these all go together.
No,
so
there's no tractor yet, folks, but we are
we
warming
don't
up. Look,
have
we're getting
yet,
barns.
But we did. But I did feel like spring's coming. I kind of like, you know, cherry blossoms are the thing. I think we kind of got very close to his painting here today, and you know, could have put a few more branches in this for sure. Maybe one or two that were coming off here like this. Let's see. Do I have any? I'm just looking at this going. Yeah, and there was some, but I don't know if I'd want a branch here, but he had another one coming up like this through here.
Yes, Ginger's cookie crumbs are gluten-free.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, you know, if you need to break up a shape or, you know, put a little thing, and you could come back with a little brush. If you don't have one of these liner brushes, incidentally, I found this on the brush guys, this little liner brush I quite like. This is one that Cinnamon discovered. You guys may know that Cinnamon's my daughter, the art Sherpa, and she spent a lot of time researching brushes and was lucky enough to have people send her brushes to try, and she found these. And you know, I'm always on the quintessential brush looking, and this is by Silver. It's a number 2/0. It's called a script liner, and these are great for little branches like this. You hold them way back, and you can make little branches like that. See? I mean, they're great. I mean, these are absolutely great. So you can kind of see. I think we got this picture. Don't you guys think so?
I think so. Let's zoom in a little bit on that puppy, huh?
Yeah, so you can zoom in on it. We'll get the palette out of the way. I mean, funny way to paint a picture, right? But the colors are gonna, the red really pops the picture, which I think is really cool. And again, you can kind of see if I bring this over. I mean, I think we got pretty close, and you know, a little bit of time, right? And you know, got to be happy about that. I'm happy about it. I think that was really fun. And you know, the question is going to come up. Can you sign your own name to that? Sure, he's dead. You can, right? Sure. Copyright's over on these, you guys. Just, you know, paint it and sign your name, right? If you want to put later, somebody say you want after Monet, that's okay. But you know, you sure could. I'll tell you what. Probably this liner brush is not what you'd want to sign your name with, though. It's too long for that. All right, you want a tiny pointy brush for that. But just somebody or a pen or something. But I want to sign my name here anyway.
Go for it.
I'm sorry. I'm going to sign it anyway.
Hey, we'd like to thank everybody for helping us achieve the 30,000 mark. They're asking if we're going to have a special show for that. Our schedule is so tight right now. We'd rather educate you guys than party on.
But we appreciate you. We appreciate you, and I feel like every time you come on, it's special. If you tell your friends and share and help other people find us on YouTube, this is really nice. You know, when I post something up, joinginger.cook.92, which is my Facebook group. You know, I'll friend you on Facebook, and you know, share us your artwork, share our stuff that we're doing with others. Help other people find us, because you know, we don't do Instagram and we don't do Twitter. We don't do all those things because most of our group doesn't do that stuff. So anyone kept saying, well, why aren't you doing this stuff, right?
Our guys are challenged enough to get to the computer.
You know, already I need to break this branch up right here.
I
see this?
knew it.
I'm just saying, do you see how you could see? I just needed to break that branch up right there. It was bugging me. But you know, that's what you do. You look at it for a little bit and say, what could I take away or what could I add and not ruin the effect, all right? So that's what you want to.
Yeah, we hit 50,000. We'll have a party for sure.
Yeah, oh sure. Listen, for sure. And again, we appreciate if you haven't subscribed. We appreciate if you do. We love your comments, and your support. And please check us out, gingercooklive.gallery. It's where we really teach you to paint. And one last thing, somebody was kind of complaining the other day, in a comment, and rightly so, that they feel like there's too much chat going on here. They just want a lesson. I have 275 lessons where I just teach you. There's no chatting here. There's just lessons. Ask anybody, So come over to the gallery and pick out of those the things you want to learn. We're about the experience with you guys here. We're about the chatting and the experience and answering questions, and we love that. So
the socialization and getting to know our members.
Yeah, this is a great way for you guys to. We're all kind of isolated out here. Artists particularly sometimes just kind of hang out in their studio. We want to. Give a shout out to our friend Sharon Apouge, and hope that she's feeling better if she's watching. And
I don't think I saw her tonight.
And that's kind of thing. We don't do a lot of that stuff, but as we get to know you, we do it.
You got my paintings?
Oh yeah, everybody
the star
wants to
student.
see.
Wait a minute, the star student's paintings.
All right, everybody wants to see John's paintings. Let me move this out of the way. Right.
Just for a
This
second.
was his very first painting. If you're not watching this show, John's journey, Ginger teaches John to paint. That's his very first painting. And at that lesson, he also learned to blend with some nice circles and balls and stuff. And then he went ahead and he did this coffee cup. And he took that knowledge and learned a coffee cup. That's lesson number 2. Lesson number 3 was the bananas. John goes bananas.
Oh, that was a fun one.
And that was a little more challenging. But we're going to follow John along his journey to becoming a master acrylic artist. But I got to say, it's Sharon Monet Pouge. Monet Pouge, I want to say, if you haven't been over to my Pinterest page, you got to see what she painted. She started a year ago, and now she's painting really detailed, fine things. It's the fast track for learning how to paint. Okay, when you really want to learn how to paint, we're the guys.
We're the way to do it.
And one last thing. Can I say one last thing?
Because could you put tonight's painting back out then?
Sure. The one last thing that kind of is a little hot button for me is that, have you ever heard the expression, something seems too good to be true? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And just a fast story. Years ago, back when I was about 22 years old, I traveled to the Orient, 6-week tour of the Orient with Cinnamon's dad, Colby. We were the youngest couple on there. He was like 32 and I was like 22. All these older people were on there, and there was this guy, our guide, Tomio. I even remember him, and he sold us some jade, and he was explaining it was a super deal he'd got on the jade. And we got this beautiful little piece of jade about the size of my thumbnail, and maybe my little fingernail, and it was really pretty and just absolutely gorgeous. And he was explaining it was probably worth $1,000, and I think we gave him $200 for it. But then $200 back then was a lot of money. Okay. And not that it isn't, but it was really a lot then. It was like, really, we had no business buying it, but we did. And then we got back, I remember going back and showing my parents this jade we got and telling them the story. And my mother just rolled her eyes and said, you guys, you just got duped. I go, oh no, this was really good. All those other people and all the other old people, I saw the old people on this trip, they all bought it too. Okay, and there was a lot of us that bought it because he was a good salesman. Okay, so then when I got back to Aspen, which is where I happen to be living, I sent it into California to the Gemological Institute of America and was told it was not jade, it was chrysoprase. Kind of like jade, like a green agate, but it wasn't jade. And so I'd been totally ripped off. And, and that's the old adage, sometimes something's too good to be true. Well, I feel that because we're so reasonable with our art lessons, people think they're too good to be true. When you can get personal art coaching and for under $30 a month have access to all these lessons, we keep adding more, so it's a better deal every month. People say, well, it can't be that great. Why is that it that cheap? If you live in America or Canada or somewhere, and maybe that does seem inexpensive considering what one lesson costs with me if you were just know me in person, but it's a lot of money to maybe somebody in some other country. It's a lot of money, and John and I wanted to make sure that our online academy of fine art and acrylic painting was affordable to the globe. So you guys in the States are getting a real break. That's all I'm going to say, so we can make it possible.
We've seen other artists, they charge $99 a month for
nothing.
15 lessons, I think he has.
Yeah, 15 lessons, no personal art coaching, and good luck if you want any help with it. So I understand. I just want to say that it's not too good to be true. I think it's really one of the best values out there. Just going to toot my own horn a minute and say that.
Toot, toot. Oh, sorry. Got carried away.
All right, thanks.
Okay, that wraps it up. Tomorrow is the last night for the secret word game. Don't forget to be paying attention for that. No entries will be accepted until after I make the form and let you know where it is, because that too will be a game to find.
No, it won't. He's going to make it easy for you to find. We appreciate it.
Come on.
Okay, and you're going to win.
Take all the fun.
You're going to
away
win. Somebody's going to win this original painting.
that
Okay.
original painting somewhere in the world, in the
And
universe.
it's a 10 by 10 original painting by me called The Proposal. Someone's going to win. And I got to say, you guys that are showing me your artwork that you've been doing, really fantastic. Some of the paintings I've been seeing back on Facebook, really good too.
All right, all.
Bye.
We're saying good night. Good night, Sammy.
Night, Sammy. Night, John.
Night, Ginger.
Night, everybody.